waiting on my moment.
What's going on? How you doing? This is Justin Owens again. Hey man, thank you so much for watching one of our videos. Hopefully you got a chance to subscribe, follow what we're doing, following the movement. And I want to start off with this because I didn't get a chance to really talk about it. You know, people ask me, hey Justin, what is this this new age CEOs movement? What's that all about? And what I tell people and what I want to encourage all of us, you know, entrepreneurs, people that's in business, people that's going for goals is, and I'm not just talking about being successful in business, but more so is learning how to create everyone an opportunity for success. That's what I believe that CEOs are. But what we want to teach you is more so how to become a CEO of your life. See, I truly believe that there's a new age or a new era, if you will, of entrepreneurs, the people that's going for their goals, going for their dreams. And what we think, I believe we truly need to focus on is how to create success for everybody else. One of the problems with our generation, I truly believe, is this feeling of entitlement. I talk about this sometimes when I go speak in different organizations, is that a lot of people got to this point where they feel like they get something for just showing up. You ever met somebody like that? They feel like, hey, look, well, just because I practice, I'm going to make it on the team. Or just because I show up, I'm going to get some results. And I think a lot of that comes from the way that we've been raised, our environments. As a matter of fact, I went to one of my buddy's schools. His son is like my nephew. And I went to the award ceremony. And I don't know if you've been to one lately, but they've changed things so much from the time that I went to school. Because, see, how it used to work when I went to school is that people got awards that actually deserved them. Like, you got awards if you got the principal's list, all A's, or the honor roll, A's and B's, or perfect attendance. And I went to the school and it was like everybody got an award. And this is no exaggeration. When I mean everybody got an award. I mean, they were like making up awards. I was like, what is this award? I've never heard of it before. They were like, this award right here, this one is for Susie because she tried hard. Like, what? She got an award for trying hard? And this one is for Johnny because he was there. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And don't get me wrong, I do agree that, hey, people need recognition, people get awards. But I think the challenge becomes is that some of our students, our future, our next generation, our new age of people that's coming up in the workforce, they're gonna feel like they get stuff for just showing up. And for any of us that's been out there, we understand you don't get stuff for just showing up. Like, you don't just get a championship just because you play the game. You don't just get muscles. Obviously, you can tell I have lack of them, right? But you don't just get muscles just for going to the gym. So you actually got to put in some work. You got to put in some effort behind it. You don't just have a beautiful relationship just because you're there. No, it takes work. It takes effort. And so this entitlement, this feeling that you get stuff for just being there, you get stuff for just signing up, you get stuff for just saying you want to do it, it's false. And so what I want to encourage each and every single one of us is that as we're going out there and we're trying to change our lives, maybe build a business, maybe being an incredible employee, maybe trying to have a great relationship, is just understand, look, you got to work for it. And what we talked about in the last video was talking about, hey, look, when you start going for some type of goal and dream, is that you got to understand that there's going to be some work that it takes. And you're going to have some challenges, but you got to make up in your mind that you're just not going to quit. And so I told you this next video we're going to talk about is how to maintain that perspective, right? One of the things I teach people is you got to be able to maintain perspective when you're going through different things. Well, what's perspective? Well, see, perspective, that's how you view things. That's going to be how you look at things when you're going through something, right? And so what I want to encourage you to do is that as you're going through this process, right, and you're trying to maintain your perspective, is some things to watch out for. Because a lot of people, you know, when we first start out with things, we're always excited, right? We always get excited. We're like, our excitement level is off the charts. And what I tell people is like, look, when you start having doubts, right? Doubts settle in when you start looking for confirmation. I want you to jot that down. If you're taking notes, maybe put it in your phone, is that doubts settle in when you go looking for confirmation. Like, people are gung-ho after a goal and dream, and then maybe you get knocked off, and then you want to start looking for reasons why things didn't work out. Well, maybe the product isn't as good as I thought it was, or maybe they were right. Maybe it is not meant to be. And so you start having doubts, and if you start allowing those doubts to settle in, when you start looking for confirmation on why it's not working instead of going back to work and learning from it or figuring out the skills that you need in order to move to the next level, that can start knocking you off track. Next thing I want to let you know is that anybody that starts looking for confirmation, they're not looking for confirmation. They're just looking for an accomplice. Let me tell you what I mean. Like an accomplice, you guys know, is like somebody that's just looking for somebody kind of like the cosign, right? Give you an example. Anybody here ever found some money on the ground? I think we all have. And the first thing you do, you find some money on the ground. I don't know where we learned this at, but the first thing you do when you see some money on the ground, we all just put our foot on it, right? I don't know who taught us that. I don't know who put it in our brains to just put our foot over. And so we put our foot over, we look around. Next thing you do, you kind of dip down and pick it up, slide it up, and then you got to make a decision. And so typically, first thing people do is they want to call somebody, right? So you get on the phone, you call one of your friends, you say, look, yo, man, I just found $100. What you think I should do? And so the friend says, well, hey, look, man, maybe the person needed it. Maybe you need to turn it in. And you're like, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I do need to do that. And so you get off the phone. What do most people do after that? You already know. You're going to call somebody else, right? Because you're not looking for advice. You're not looking for, what you're looking for is somebody to tell you what you already want to do, right? Y'all get my point. See, when you start going around, like, you're not looking for advice. You're not looking for coaching most of the time. You're looking for somebody to co-sign on what you already think you should do. Now, once you kind of get out of that phase, those things you want to get away from. Okay, you don't want to start looking for confirmation. You don't want to start, having doubts settle in when you start thinking too much about a whole bunch of things instead of start going to work. But here's what I want to encourage you to do. Is number one is to live every day like it's your last, but also do everything like it's your first time. See, when you do things, everything if you live every day like it's your last, the first thing is that if you do that every single day, one day you're going to be right. But number two is that when you get to a point when you start becoming successful, one of the challenges people have is that sometimes their priorities can get messed up. And so if you start thinking about, like, what if this was my last day? What things will be important? See, some people, they get out of balance. Sometimes they go for money and then they're poor relationships. But see, some people have great relationships and poor money-wise or poor health-wise and different things. And so you want to start focusing on what you can do in all areas of life. You see, we talk about it. I was talking to an organization before and I said, look, there's one thing for sure. When somebody's sitting on their deathbed, the thing they're not going to say is, I wish I had more money. A lot of times people say, I wish I had more time. I wanted to spend more time with my family. I wanted to spend more time with my loved ones. So as you start going through this journey, you want to make sure that you keep those things in perspective. You want to make sure that not only are you going for your goals, your dreams, whatever they may be, but you're also spending time in the right areas. And then the next thing is that you're going towards your goals and dreams like every day. Like every single day, you got to make a decision that you're going to do everything like it's your first time doing it. So when it's your first time doing it, aren't you excited? I mean, nobody can tell you nothing. But then when you start having people tell you no, or you don't get the results that you want, then doubt starts settling in. But if you keep a focus on, look, I'm going to just do this like it's my first time doing it. Somebody tells you no, you're doing a business presentation. Well, guess what? You get to that next presentation, that next one needs to be like it's your first time doing it. You fail a test, the next class, the next exam, it's got to be like it's your first time doing it. You go out there, you put out some results you're not getting. You go to the gym, you're not getting the results you want. You got to go there. You got to do it every day like it's your first time doing it. And the last thing from an encouragement standpoint that I tell you is, like, don't look at time. You see this thing right here, time messes up so many people's perspective. I always tell people, like, look, you can't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20. See, a lot of people start looking at other people's results, what other people are getting. They start looking at time. They start looking at all this stuff, and it starts to mess up their perspective because all of a sudden you feel like you should be over here, but you just started yesterday. Matter of fact, you haven't even started. You just started thinking about it. You just started going down and go, look, don't look at time. It's going to mess up your perspective. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, you can't look at time. Like, you just got to go to work. If you're going towards a business, go to work like you're not getting paid. Isn't that what we do at school? We do it at school all the time. We don't go to school saying, look, let me take my book back. I just can't wait so I can go. No, you're just going to school because you understand you need an education. Why do you need an education? Because you have to be able to perform out here in society. So when you start looking to go towards your business, don't look at that time because that time will mess up your perspective. Look at the skills that you need to get, right? Look at the relationship that you need to build. You start focusing on that, and that's going to put you in the right direction because you start looking at time. It's going to get you demotivated. People start asking you, like, well, how long have you been doing it? How long you been going for your goals and dreams? You haven't got it yet. What makes you think you're going to do it now? Well, look, yo, you've been doing the same thing for the last 40, 50, 30, 20 years, and you haven't got the results you want. So you got to start getting to a point where you can defend your dreams as well. Don't let people talk you out of your dreams. Don't get thrown off based off of time, based off of where other people feel like you should be. And the other thing is, look, a lot of times you got to be honest with yourself too. You probably not really doing the things you need to be doing anyway, right? Like, are you really putting in 100% every single day? I mean, are you doing the stuff that you need to be doing? Be honest with yourself. See, a lot of people, they get in business and say, well, I've been doing business for this amount of time period. No, not really. You've been trying to do it over the last couple of years, but you haven't been doing it the right way. See, jot this note down too. Look, you don't really start a business. You don't really start going for a goal or whatever until you've been doing it effectively. Like, until you actually know what you're doing, you're not going to get the results. Like going to the gym, if you see somebody working out wrong, they're not going to get the results they want because they're having the wrong form. They're not doing things the right way. Same thing in your life. If you're not doing things the right way, you can't expect to get the right results. So hopefully you got some good tips. Hopefully you got some things that you can apply in your life, in your business. And what I always tell you, look, thank you so much, but also more importantly, make sure that you go out there, you try to, find some success. You find some results. You know why? Because you deserve it. Thank you so much.